Hello, and welcome to Welspun Leads by Dipali Goenka. I am Dipali, CEO and Joint Managing Director of Wellspun India. Through this podcast, I'll share my thoughts across various topics that are relevant to grow the company and industry at large. Join me in this journey as we come along diverse experiences and learnings in the era of digitization and doing business with a heart. At Wellspun, we are committed to sustainability and innovation to ensure development of a company and contributing meaningfully to the community we serve and operate in. While we will take a look in depth at all these topics, I want to begin with something close to my heart and very topical: women in the workplace and how we are working to break the bias. Before we talk about how we at Wellspun are working to break the bias, I want to share my own story. I married at the age of 18 and moved from Jaipur to Mumbai in 1987. Life for the first few years centered on the family, but as my daughters turned 10 and 7, there was an increasing desire about my own development to set an example as they watched me. This led to me joining the Wellspun group with support from my husband, BK, but he was clear that I would have to work my way up, and being part of the family would not ensure a seat at the top. Challenge accepted. My next step was to understand the business and continue my education. I completed my OPM program at Harvard and joined the business. Over the years, I had always wondered why our industry, which sold mainly to the women and homemakers, was so male dominated. I felt I would be able to bring in a different perspective about the buying reasons, needs, and alter the business accordingly. Till 2002, we focused on exporting our products and consumer insights. But with the launch of Spaces in 2002, I set off on my entrepreneurial journey. This was born of the insights I brought to the business and a lot of learning along the way. The success we enjoyed with domestic retail and later with exports business paved the way for me to become the CEO of Wellspun's global business in 2010 and joint MD in 2014. It is 2022. Are there really still biases that limit women at the workplace? The answer is resounding yes. A lot of these biases are unconscious. They are ingrained into our psyche and something we are brought up to believe in. These range from something as basic as ageism, gender bias, and also include attributes that are out of anyone's control, like height, beauty, name, and more. What tends to affect at the workplace more than anything else is gender bias. Over the years, studies have shown that unconscious bias can have a big impact on people related decisions at work, especially when it comes to recruitment, promotion, performance management, and idea generation. But why? And how can we overcome this? There are things we can do to be objective about how we perceive and behave with people. Let's take one step at a time and try a few of these. First, slow down. Our brain is faster than a supercomputer, but we don't need to go at the speed of light with every decision we make. Thanks to unconscious biases, we tend to make snap decisions. Train your mind to not make snap decisions and to base opinions after you have had a fair interaction with coworkers. Avoid blind recruitment. What if we could see the gender of an applicant when making a hiring decision? If the candidate is right for the job, why should the gender matter? Try it, and you may end up with a much diverse and inclusive workforce. Number three, train well. If you're a business leader, please take responsibility to train your teams to overcome their biases. This is important not only to break unconscious bias, but also to drive better decisions making across the board. Take responsibility. Introspection is a very important part of understanding and overcoming your biases. Evaluate your behavior and do an honest appraisal. You'll be surprised. Work on yourself. I'd like to share some key highlights of the tremendous transformation in Wellspun's diversity journey. When I joined the business, only 10% of our employees were women. Today, approximately 26% of our total workforce are women. Across the hierarchy, our year over year growth in women leadership roles has shown a considerable increase of 37%. As per global benchmarks, 1 in 10 of a women's staff has been identified as a high potential employee through an internationally acclaimed assessment. At Wellspun, we strive to offer a workplace that truly breaks the bias. Back in 2009, we launched Spun based on the 4 pillars of sustainability, passion, understanding, and nurturing. It was started as a medium to empower and provide a livelihood to women severely affected by the 2001 Gujarat earthquake. Over the years, it has transformed many lives and gone beyond providing employment. Empowering local communities, the very cornerstone of a society, is an important part of achieving this goal and will be critical to the sustainable business model that will define the modern enterprise. So far, we have set up 8 vocational centers across Kutch with more than 2,200 trained women. The program has impacted the lives of around 9,000 people across the region. The Spun enterprise is in line with Welspun's aim to become the global leader in the ESG framework, with sustainability embedded in the every realm of its operations. As part of efforts to break the bias, we are actively involved in supporting female athletes as well. The Wellspun Super Sports Women program was an initiative that set out to identify, encourage, and empower women athletes from humble, challenging backgrounds. I'm very proud of the fact that we have positively impacted athletes across sports like para badminton, swimming, cycling, athletics, weightlifting, and more, helping them to break through in disciplines that Indian athletes didn't traditionally excel in. Most importantly, though we continue to strive to offer more and more opportunities to women within our factories, in 2017, we started an all women unit in Gujarat. As an agent of change, Wellspun will continue to work on this front and break the bias. We are in 2022. Equal opportunity should be considered a right. Look around you, understand your environment, and take a pledge to break the bias. My favorite poetry by Maya Angelou, Still I Rise. Leaving behind the nights of terror and fear, I rise into a daybreak that's wondrously clear. I rise, bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave. I am the dream and the hope of the slave. I rise, I rise, I rise, I rise.